Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you. It's been a long week. Hey, Michael. Hey, Unlikely Beekeeper. Good to see everybody. Just, hey, good job, Tom. I just made it to the house and had half a plate of dinner and talked to my grandson, and here I am with you fine folks. So hopefully everybody's bees are doing good. I'm up to 22 colonies as we speak. Had to go around the other day, and Sunday I went to the out yard and added some supers on the ones that were ready there. So everybody here pretty much got a box. I think I've got 2 colonies here that don't have at least 2. Some of my strong colonies are up to 3 extra boxes right now. So just doing some things and trying to keep busy when I'm not at work. And it's everything to keep up with it. I don't envy you guys. Let me drop a link here for anybody that's interested in coming along. I did sell a couple of bottles of the barbecue sauce at work today. Not a lot, but I didn't make a lot. So it worked out great. A lot of people tried it and they seem to enjoy it. Just, it's an off pay week. So a lot of people are like, I might get you next week. So we'll see what happens. But just trying to diversify a little bit. And then I sold another jar of lemon creamed honey, but I got to take that tomorrow. So just keeping up with everything. And being in training at 9 hours before I come here has been challenging, but we're making it. We're getting there. We're getting through it. So, we do what we can. So hopefully everybody is, snow's starting to melt. I saw Phil at 33 Miles Bees. He was, oh, geez. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that, man. Make me want to come on every week. Thank you so much. You are the man for sure. It is difficult. I don't know how James up in Canada does it either, working full time and working many more hours than I work, and still able to get the bees done. It's a lot of work, and bees don't wait on anybody. We all know that, right? Yeah, job's interfering with the bee life, but if it wasn't for the job, I'd be sitting in the dark right about now, probably. So making subtle sacrifices over here. But hey, with that being said, anybody that's in the area that wants to donate a split, I'll take it. So good to see everybody. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. Not much really to report. I'll wait till somebody joins. I know Brad's got a meeting tonight. I don't know what time he's going to come in. But I'll show you some of the barbecue sauce that I made. So it again, it's going to depend state to state whether you can do things like that. And then, I'm selling to a group of people that I'm not real worried about going to the bee police on me. So it's been pretty good. So, what I add since I started at this job, the lemon pepper, espresso, spicy honey barbecue sauce. So a couple different things, a little bit of extra value there just to try to improve the amount of money I make per pound of honey. So, and barbecue sauce for one batch takes a cup. So it's you could stretch it a little bit, but I think a pint is 2 cups. So that's about 3/4 of a pound in a cup, I guess. So it's not a lot of added value. Plus you put all the other ingredients into the sauce and that costs money. So it's not a lot of extra value. But if I were going to do it at scale, I would thank you so much, Brian and Jen at Flower Street. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I sent Philip, I think he's supposed to get it tomorrow. I sent Philip those gold bees that I get with the jars I use for the creamed honey. So maybe his daughter can make some jewelry out of it, and just send it to him because I had his address, and hopefully he gets it. So if you talk to Philip, tell him look out for it. Just they were sitting around here and I wasn't using them, so maybe she could use them, help out. But yeah, just keeping busy and trying to do what I can to stay ahead of the bees. I think I lost one swarm, but when I went out there, I couldn't identify which colony it would have been because they were all pretty packed. So Tom, thank you. Tom went live at 8:00 tonight, filling in for me. So you went from 8 till, I guess, I don't know when you ended, but usually I'm finished about now. So having to keep these hours, I haven't been keeping up with it too much. Thank you so much, Clay. I appreciate you, buddy. Hey, Larry, good to see you. Hey, Paul, good to see you as well. It's just been one of those years, and unfortunately, I'm not independently wealthy. Hopefully, one day I can get there and be able to. Man, I'm fidgeting tonight. Get there and be able to. Oh, look who we got! The king himself.
Oh, I'm a long ways from that.
Well, hey, James.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How's things for you?
Good, actually. The bees are busy bringing in pollen, so they're building up. Got a few frames of brood in there already, so
that's a nice feeling, right?
2025 season started.
You're making chicken salad out of chicken poop right now.
Well, it's a little smaller than what I'm used to, but we're gonna roll with it.
You don't have any choice. No matter where you go, there you are, right?
I always seem to be right there. I beat myself most of the time.
That's me too. I mean, and if you make a mistake one year, you got to wait a whole another year to be able to fix the mistakes that you make from the year previous.
Oh, I think it'll take me more than 1 year to fix my mistakes there from last year. So,
well, I'm right now. I'm where I want to be here. I think Good. Maybe I could get a couple more here and I'd be fine. But I'm sitting at 16 here in this yard, which is quite a drastic difference from in the past, right? So 16 here and 6 in the out yard. But I have more honey boxes on them right now than I had at this time last year. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So I'll be curious to see how the production looks at the end of the year compared to what I'm used to.
My prediction will be your production will be the same. Your bees will be calmer, probably not as aggressive.
And they have mellowed out a bit now that we've had some flow going on and they've kind of been packing it away. From 50 stings, I think I'm down to like 5, So it's definitely cooling off a bit as far as the bees are concerned, but the just trying to make what I can with the honey I produce, right? Which goes back into product diversity. Do I have too many flavors? Yeah, probably. No, never too many.
Figure out what sells. You don't know what's going to sell until you see what the local market wants.
It's coming on summer, and I had a pretty good, reception at the company there for honey sales. And so I was sitting there and I was like, so I had jarred up all my hot honey, and I had probably this much in the bottom of a 5-gallon pail that was hot honey, and I had no more jars. And I didn't know it was hot honey because it had crystallized. And I took it and put it in the warmer, and I was getting ready to dump it in with my other honey. And when I lifted it up, I said, yeah, that smells like peppers, right? And put it down. And I'm like, what can I do with this honey? Well, made some barbecue sauce. I only made 8 3/4 bottles. And because
the 3/4 your sample jar.
Yeah, the 3/4 the sample jar, exactly. And we opened it up at work today, and I sold 2 bottles on the spot with somebody from Alberta, which is basically the additive inverse of every Canadian I've ever met. Hey, have you tried this restaurant? No, I don't like it. Do you watch TV? No, I just read books. It's like everything is like just the opposite of everybody I know, right? Do you eat donuts? No, I won't eat donuts from there. And then the next day brings in donuts that she eats, right? So it's like, okay, whatever, And then I let her try my sauce, totally expecting her to say, and she bought the 2 jars. I was like,
nice.
Okay, so we got seal of approval there, So
that's fun.
So I had other people that had went to lunch, and when they came back, they brought their fried chicken in, and they're like, hey, just go at it, man.
Right
and
on.
Just put the flavor of the South in their mouth and let them go. A little smoky, sweet, and spicy honey, not too hot. Perfect.
That's what you need. And sometimes things like that turn out to be, one of the best things going. So, completely by accident, you'll run with it and you discover something, right?
They'll take it home, and their buddy will have, I need some of that. Okay, I'll get you some. And then they come back. And then next thing, every weekend you'll be making barbecue sauce.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Well, I had a few people come by the house here. There's one lady that came by the house to pick up some more honey. Her mom won't eat anything but, so she came by and picked up a couple big pails, and it's like, well, that's good. So, I see her about every, it used to be once a year. It's probably every 6 months now. So
now it's going to be every 2 years until you get built back up.
Oh no, I still got honey out there. No worries there.
You got a little reserves back there?
I got a little reserves back there.
That's always a good thing. Even if I sold all my jars, all I need to do is put more jars in there because I've got a little bit extra sitting back.
Right on.
So, Mike, what's been going on with you, buddy?
Oh, we're getting rain and snow again.
Snow again. They just had it.
Nothing accumulating, but just miserably awful days.
James is talking about his bees are bringing in pollen up there.
Absolutely.
Bringing in pollen when it's not snowflaking and raw.
Let me grab a jar of
trees. Yeah, our trees up here are about to, in fact, some of them coming up the river hill have already got leaves on them. I'm pretty sure the pollen they're bringing in is dandelion pollen. It's bright yellow. So,
we're not that. Our red maples are just starting to get ready to pop.
Oh yeah, most of our willows have popped. The poplar are just about to pop up here. So I would say we're going pretty good. And I think the average temperature for the next the week is supposed to be anywhere from 13 to 22 degrees Celsius. So we're sitting pretty good.
So, James, I have a question for you. I know you got to kind of rebuild quite a bit. Now, do you buy packages or nukes? And
Well,
how
actually,
early can you get packages?
so we can get packages here. I think first or second week of May, so we can get packages up here. But ironically enough, looks like I've got some people actually off of YouTube have reached out. They're going to sell me some hives, so it looks like I'm going to pick those up. So I see a road trip in my future. So,
I would have never guessed you going on a road trip.
So, yeah, so it looks good. And, I keep saying the power of YouTube. People that, they phone me up. Hey, you know what? I've got 10 extra hives here, or I got 4 extra hives here. And the good news is they're not gouging me either. They give me an honest, fair price, of which I'm more than willing to pay. So looks like I won't be anywhere close to where I was going in, but the future's looking pretty bright.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
There you go. Sweet and spicy.
Now, do you make your own labels, Bob?
Yeah, I print these labels.
I was going to say, that's a quick turnaround. You just made it the other day.
Oh, yeah. So this was the sample jar. You can see they broke it off pretty good. Including myself, I used it tonight too.
Right on.
So, and
well, I'm just about to go into basically a shutdown here at the mill. So,
so you're gonna be on 2 weeks.
Yeah, so
straight?
It'll be best part just over 2 weeks this year. Next year is a full month. But
then usually after that shutdown, you come to the States for a few days.
Well, actually, I'll be down in your neck of the woods in September by the sounds of it. So they've asked me to come down and put on another training course and another conference down there. So I'll be heading down to do that. If they'll let Canadians in then.
How much do we have to tariff to get you in?
Yeah, who knows?
You might be a state by then.
So, but yeah.
Alberta might secede by then.
Well, I don't know about that one. We won't get into that. So, but
there's definitely schools of thoughts on that for sure, at least on YouTube.
Yeah,
but we'll keep the politics out of it tonight. I know people. We'll go from 48 to 38 with a quickness when we start talking politics.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan to talk politics. I will say I'm a very happy, very proud Canadian. So, now inside of that, I'm also going to say I'm an even more happy and a more proud Albertan. So,
well, there you go.
But,
that's the
yeah. So I started hauling cases of honey into the mill because I'll usually sell probably 25 to 30 cases of honey over the next little bit there. So.
Well, where I work, the word hasn't even gotten out really. It's just people that are right around my training class.
Yep.
And the instructor and people that he's invited to come taste the honey that was in there.
Yep.
And who knows if I'll even be able to keep up. I mean, the backpack that I took into work today was probably 30 pounds. And it was all honey. Just 1 pound, barbecue sauce and some honey. And my instructor had kind of a cold. And he said, hey, can you bring me some of that lemon creamed honey tomorrow? Well, sure. And then he kind of at the end of the night, he's like, look, my voice just can't take it anymore. And I whipped out a bottle. I said, I've got regular honey.
You know what I find a lot of people up here? I make a turmeric and ginger honey. And that goes over really well. So you can almost tell who's not feeling well because they're in buying turmeric and ginger honey.
I'm out of jars. I'm out of these small jars. And I literally just bought 3 weeks ago. I had 150 jars come to me. And I was like, that's plenty. And then I made cinnamon and I made lemon pepper and I made espresso and
there you go.
And I made raspberry and I made some blackberry And
Right.
yeah, so those jars went away pretty quickly.
Got it like
Now,
that. Oh,
I still have them. I haven't sold them, but it's made.
right. I was going to say, I'm just looking over by the door. I got a big package there from that came in. So we got 3 barrel heaters, barrel blankets came in today. So we can get basically get about 3 45-gallon drums at a time, plus what I got in my warming cabinet going. So it'll things will be picking up.
Let me see. I'm typing here. There you go. Philip, RTX honeybees, I sent you a package. You should get it tomorrow. I think tomorrow. So look out for it. It's going to, I'm not going to dox you. Capel, however you pronounce it. That's the address I had. So something for your daughter, actually. Maybe she can use it. So, yeah, I just been busy. And I work that weird shift, right? Noon to 9. But it's 30-minute drive, and I'm always early unless James is here. Then I'm late.
Then you're in bed.
Then I'm in bed. James could have sold honey. He drank 4 beers in the parking lot in the driveway.
Oh, I couldn't resist, man. That was just too good. So,
but yeah, man, it's just trying to keep up with everything is the big thing now, right? So we're just I think they all have enough room at the moment. Just added more boxes on them. So, and I've been using my deeps first. So hopefully they I can have a normal size. I don't have to adjust the uncappers often.
right.
And so yeah, I'm Canadianizing my bees.
You're reformed.
I'm reformed Canadian reformed bees.
Don't tell anybody you're Canadianizing your bees. So
They
it'll
won't
cost you 25% more.
25% more. Hey, I need 25% more bees. So yeah, I just had to make that decision this year that after my winter losses, I could not afford to continue to buy bees.
Nope.
So,
and you should, right? We talked about that lots.
Oh yeah. So I definitely I did some bulk splits, and it's probably different from everybody else's bulk splits. I called it a bulk split because I literally didn't know where the queen was. I just took a box of bees with brood and larva in it and moved it over.
A walk away.
Yeah, it was a walkway, and I don't know. I didn't know which side had the queen in it, right? So,
I got friends that do that every year,
and you know they'll make a sell, and we'll let them go and see what happens. What's the worst case? I lose a hive. I lost 75% of them over winter. What's one now? I wouldn't lose the whole thing, right?
I wish I could feel sorry for you, Bob, but I really don't.
Yeah, I know. You wish you lost 75% at this point.
I'd be very happy with that. But
how is your hive doing?
my hive
plural. How is your singular?
Well, how is my hive? My hive is doing good. I think I'll go with the girls are doing amazing. So
sounds like more.
I looked in there on the weekend. So looks like of course I've got it on a hive heater and I've got feed on them and they're bringing pollen in. So they got. I'm going to say we're approaching a volleyball size nest of brood in there. So things are going well. So
you keep it up, you'll be able to split her.
It's not funny, but it's funny. It's not funny the reason why, but
I want to graft off of her.
I know you do. You said that was
so.
And I saw the sheets of brood.
Your alternative.
No, I can't graft off the rest of them. So I did get my some of the stuff back though from some of the testing on the bees. So I'm.
Was it disease?
No. So I won't get into it too much because I still need the other Well, I sent one more sample out yesterday, so I got to get the 3 other samples back, but I'm starting to understand a little bit of what went on.
Well,
So,
that's Randy Oliver's first rule of raising queen bees. You can't graft from dead queens, right?
no, it's pretty hard to graft from a dead queen. Yep.
So, we do what we got to do.
Well, they've gone through, like, that hive is all on its second gallon of sugar water already. So
it's amazing what that'll do to a colony in the spring.
Yep. So they got sugar water with apis in there, and they've got the global patty in there, and I've just noticed, because they're in a hive heater, I can take it up and I can see down through the screen and stuff. I think they're bringing in so much pollen, they're hardly touching that pollen patty in there now. So, which is good.
Does that make you rethink the timing you do things in the spring, because it is a little bit earlier than normal, right? Or do you normally bring them out when you get?
No. So if you remember, I use those hive heaters as a tool, right? So
you were doing it last year to try to get drones raised, right?
Correct. Actually, I've always, well, my drone colony died, but I've always used those hive heaters ever since I worked with a bug farmer and got built some of them up here. So for a hobbyist, I honestly don't think you can beat them. They correct so much. Like they'll buffer so many mistakes that it's crazy. So if you're a hobbyist that's only going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 hives, and you have access to to 110-volt outlet, I swear by it. I think that's probably that's a better invention than a flow hive, for a hobbyist. It really is. So, I mean, they're cranked up. The temperature up there is set right now at 23 degrees. That hive stays at 23 degrees. So,
and if it's too cold, they just don't go out.
If it's too cold, they don't go out, but it's still 23 degrees inside the hive. Right? So, but and it's plus or minus 2 degrees. So the most it'll get is 25 degrees. The coldest it'll get is 21. They're happy as clams in there. So
how do we know the clams are happy? They always look like.
Can you run that year round, or is it something
you can. So I normally turn them down in the wintertime. But if you go back to some of my earlier videos, I had all my hives on those hive heaters, which worked great for the first hive, and then the first 2 hives, and then 4 hives and 8 hives, and then you very quickly just grow outside of that, right? Like it's no good for a commercial beekeeper. But
and next thing you know, you're putting in a new service.
Yeah, it is a good tool, because you can kick them in gear as long as they can get out and get a cleansing flight and stuff. You can kick them in gear. You're artificially, for lack of better terms, you're artificially creating an environment for them. So, like it is a slick tool. So
Nate says I can just put it up. My old eyes don't. So my experience with hive heaters is it dries the colony out a lot.
Nope. Then you're turning it up too much. So these hive heaters, and go and check out the I'll give him a plug. Go and check out the Bug Farmer, because he shows you exactly how to make them, and he shows you how to set them up. So if your hive heaters are driving the colony out a lot, it's either A, too hot, or B, not enough airflow. But the hive heaters that the Bug Farmer makes, he actually puts heaters in the bottom and fans in the top, and they're both thermostatically controlled. So if it gets too hot in there, even in the summertime, the heaters don't turn on, but the fans turn on. So your bees now, they don't have to waste energy trying to cool the hive. You don't see them out. I'd have to switch that over to see what that is in Celsius. They don't get too hot in the summertime, and they don't have to waste a bunch of energy trying to cool it, and they don't have to waste a bunch of energy trying to heat it. If you've got those temperatures set up right, they're slick. Like, I mean, they are very, very slick. When he put some thought into that, they work well.
Let's see. He says the 745F is 7.2C.
Oh, that'd be way too cold then. So
That's just above what you
Now-
would have your building.
right now, there's a few other things with that too, and he's done a good job of that too. So he has. They use infrared. You don't want to use a regular white light. That will drive them out. That keeps the bees going all the time.
Not drive them out, dry them out.
Well, that too. Dry them out. Oh yeah. No, so I've never had that problem. And this might be where I'm going with. So he uses an infrared lizard light bulb for the heat. So it's an infrared heat, and he has a piece of plywood that he puts full of holes, and I do the same thing. So that heat disperses around the whole hive. So I've never had a problem with them drying out. And I've been using them now for 10 years. I don't know, whatever the heck it is. So
Let's see.
if
Some of that might be the climate that the person's in as well, too, though, right?
Absolutely could be, right? So, well, the bug farmer's down by, where is he? He's in
near Atlanta somewhere, right?
Near Atlanta there, yeah. So
one day when I'm going over that way, I'll be like, hey, coming out that way.
He's a great guy. He really is, humble, believe it or not. So,
and he's a military. Is he a Navy veteran?
I don't know
he's a
that
veteran.
much. I don't know that much about him, to be honest with you. He may be. So
we might have a lot in common.
Could be. Oh, you both keep bees. Actually, he's doing really good. So I think he. I was looking at his videos and stuff there the other day too. So, he's turned into a. What would you call it? A sideliner business there as well. So I know he's doing quite well down there.
That's good. Georgia and bees. I don't know what it is about that. I don't know if it's just the climate or what, but they seem to do really well in Georgia.
I think it's the fact that, like in Georgia and everything like that, you guys have enough foliage and everything around there to support them, right?
Well, he's definitely in a different climate from me. I bet he doesn't have sandy soil like I have.
No, actually, they, if I remember,
clay,
it's not too far from an orchard and things like that. So, so he's got things set up there pretty good.
Well, for this year, for some reason, when I think it's our milder than normal temperatures, like a lot of my stuff that's usually spread out blooming seems to be blooming a lot at one time.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see what that does, because nature's a great equalizer, right? So if it's great now, that means later it's probably not going to be so great, and I'm going to have to probably do some feeding a little bit different than I would normally. So I just have to keep an eye on it. But it's been a little bit wetter than normal too right now, so that could be what's getting everything through.
Might be helping, right?
Yeah, can't be hurting my bees. They're like bulletproof little bastards.
I have a bob hive too. Thank God it's only in a 6 frame. It lights me up pretty good every time I open it up.
I'm gonna have to design a Kevlar bee suit.
It was funny. I went out there to throw this other bucket on, and I was telling Leah, I says, here I go. I says, no gloves, no veil, no coat, no nothing. I just went out there, took them off there. They were happy as a clam. Took a look at them, pulled the frames out. They didn't care.
Mine, some of them are like that, but it's like Russian roulette. You just don't know which one's going to be the spicy one that day.
Well, I won't laugh because it was still a little cool. I was expecting to come back in like this.
Swole up.
But nope, nothing.
I had I went into a nuke I had, and I was trying to be nice and give them more space and move them to a 10 framer, and boy, they didn't like that idea at all. Matter of fact, they attached all of the frames to the lid with burr comb. I took the whole lid off, moved every frame, all the bees at the same time over to the 10 frame box and put it in the middle. and then put the frames around it, then had to pry the lid off of it.
They needed more room, Bob.
They got it. And I won't touch them for another month because I know they won't build that thing up that fast.
Oh, you'd be surprised if there's a nectar flow on. They'll fill those other 5 frames in a heartbeat.
Well, I gave them drawn comb too, so she hopefully will
yeah,
go crazy
so
in there.
You better see them in less than a month. Up here, especially if we've got a nectar flow on, I can put 5 frames in a hive and go back a week later. Not only are they drawn out, they're pretty much filled.
I saw something that I've never witnessed before in one of my hives. So you know, James, that my bees, my biggest complaint is I've got some that need to be in 3 deeps and some that just don't want to grow at all, right? And I mean, to the point you saw, it's like they're like this big, and I'm like, what in the hell's going on? And I went out to this colony, and even when I have a good hive, very rarely will I see like more than 3 or 4 frames of brood. And I went out to this single deep, 6 frames of brood.
Nice.
So I dropped. I was adding a box of drawn comb. Instead of putting just the box on there, I went ahead and checkerboarded those combs with the brood and put the honey on the outside to give them some room to maneuver and work, and hopefully spread the population density out to where. But that when those 6 frames hatch, boy, it's going to be blasted.
Yeah, just a word of caution: if you're going to checker frame brood, they need enough bees to keep all that brood warm.
Well, the brood that's not entirely true. The bottom box I actually checkerboarded with frames. The top box I put all the brood together in the middle.
Okay.
So the empty frames were on the outside, so they could still do their thing. But yeah, and most of that was capped. There was like 4 frames of capped and 2 uncapped. And I'm like, this thing's gonna explode. So I don't want it to land in their trees somewhere. So,
well, I'm going to keep a pretty close eye on this one out back here, because if they keep going the way they're going, she'll have that bottom box, I'm going to say, filled before. I'm going to look at her again next weekend. Probably not this weekend, probably next weekend, or Easter weekend, and they might get a second on there.
You could put 6 IR lights on the inside of the box, IR cameras, so you could just pull it up on your phone and be like, yep, there's still bees in there.
Oh, I know there's still bees in there. I can sit here. I can see the hive from where I'm sitting in my living room.
That'd be an observation hive from your lounging chair. You could be drinking a beer and watching your bees at the same time.
Stranger things have happened. So I do that to the bees in the shed all winter long.
Did they ever find the guys that broke into your farm?
We did.
Oh, you did?
So, yep.
They just never did anything about it.
How do I put this? They never found them. We did.
That's all I need to hear.
Street justice. Woo!
So,
the
you got to be nuts to rob from an Irishman.
Or an Italian.
You might get a flat tire accidentally.
I do believe we invented the word vendetta.
Vendetta.
So
that's funny.
Yeah, we've had absolutely 0 problems out there this year. In fact, nobody in there. So.
Does it feel weird when we're on a chat and all of us are in different stages of beekeeping and we're doing the exact same thing? It's so like
you got the beginner, right? You got the intermediate.
You got the restarter. Hey, I'm there every year, and that's one of the most frustrating things about beekeeping to me is that every year it seems like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again with the same results. That's the bad part. And
well, you know what I'm learning this year? I'm learning all of these tests, and I'm learning a whole pile of stuff. So I think it's an expensive learning exercise, but I'm learning a pile.
Well, I've learned that what I was doing in the past wasn't working or isn't working or maybe it is. Maybe it's working exactly like it's supposed to be working, because not to mention anybody on the stream, but somebody, James, told me 2 years ago that I had too many bees here. And every year nature keeps taking them back to the same amount. And then it's like, maybe you need an out yard. So we got an out yard.
So,
and now we'll see. We'll see what happens. So
yeah, with the area you're in, you would very, very easily be able to overpopulate. And like I said, I think you're going to see a difference in your, your colonies too. I think they're going to calm down a little bit. There won't be as much competition. I don't think they'll be as hotter. I think you're going to see a huge difference.
Well, I hope so, because they can't get any meaner.
I still believe your honey harvest will be the same, if not more. Yeah, if not more.
Well, this year I got a new high water mark to beat, so we'll see. So 1250 was what we got last year. We'll see if we can beat that this year. Which for you, when you have 3 hives, I understand that. I'm fully aware that honey production is different in different areas. For here, if I make 50 pounds, it's probably a good year per colony. But
last year with the drought, I didn't even make 10 pounds per colony.
So I'm learning lots about a drought. So
it does a lot of damage. Did you find your dead outs were very small?
The dead outs were small, but we're finding a few other things. So I've plotted the weather last year. I got it on my computer there. So I plotted the weather last year, and I figure we had 6 distinctive different flows last year. The largest one have happened at the very end before I put them away. So after I removed the honey supers is probably when we got our largest flow up here, which was weird because normally everything would be in the dead or dying out. But that is I'm starting to see a pattern, and I'm thinking that is a contributor to what I ran into here last year. Not the reason, a contributor.
Yeah, we had a drought several years ago. I lost 80%. And I was looking, and because I really didn't know much about it, I'd look in and see sheets of cap brood. I also saw no nectar ban or honey ban or pollen ban. And I didn't realize they were going in and cannibalizing all the young. So the bees were hatching out. So now it's basically like having a package when it comes into the time for them to start making the winter bees. And they don't make enough winter bees.
I was going to say, you can't make those winter bees, right?
Yeah, well, they make them, but nowhere near enough. And those ones that you think you have all these bees, well, they're going to die off before the winter comes. Yeah. So about time you're putting everything away, you don't have what you think's in the hive for starters.
Well, we scooped bees up all winter long. So, and we looked in there, I'm going to say probably 3 weeks before we pulled them out, and we still had a few live hives. So, but it's, like I said, it's definitely was a learning year.
Well, I had bees in upstate Vermont, and I was keeping those in 2 deeps and a medium because we have the long winters up there. And I could take 12 of my dead outs down here, and they didn't even equal the bees out of a starve out up there because they had a good season. So, when you got 12 hives that equal 1, and when you find the mark queen in every hive, it's not a big cluster.
Yeah. How many do you run, Mike?
What's that?
How many hives do you run?
I had about 140 going into winter between nukes, and I lost about, I don't think I even lost 15% of my production hives.
No,
I lost a fair amount of nukes, mostly because of the winds we had this year. Sent covers flying. They were out in the open, rained on.
That's one good news is I'm finding right now I have a lot of spare time. My wife got shelves that she's been asking for 3 years. So it's like I'm asking myself, geez, what am I going to do next weekend? I was mentioning, I think I'm going to go for a bike ride.
She's like, no, you're not. You're building shelves.
No, she's already got her shelves. Now she's after me for a bathroom and a plumbing repair, and but
Well, she's really pushing her luck, isn't she? Can't have one thing and be happy.
Yeah.
What you guys are talking about with droughts, that is what we deal with every year with the dearth periods, right?
Well,
in the temperature where I have to feed them constantly, and I've been lacking.
But there is a little bit of a difference. You guys have a nectar flow that, the flower or the blossom it'll blossom, the nectar, it'll go through its cycle, and then you're done until the next one comes. So last year up here, our drought was due to lack of moisture and heat. So if we got a little shower, and it's very isolated, the showers up here, the whole area, because we're hilly, we're not far from the Rocky Mountains. So, I mean, literally the north side of the street can rain and the south side gets nothing type thing, eh?
Right.
But we would get a little shower, and you could almost time it with the heat and everything like that to when you would see the bees bringing the nectar in. And it was usually within, I'm going to say, 2 to 4 days. We'd get a shower, we'd get the heat, and you'd see the nectar. And then done. So we would have a nectar flow for 24 to 48 hours, and that's it. So what would end up happening is they would bring it in as fast as they could, but
it wasn't long enough.
They would consume it. And the pollen also changed with it. And the pollen and the nectar flows never really seem to line up. So I'm starting to get all of these things plotted in there. So by the time the flower and stuff like that would come to blossom, there would be a little bit of pollen. They would pick a little bit up, but they would mainly focus on the nectar because there's nothing in the hive. And you could kind of see how that was going back and forth. Now I don't have it all plotted yet, but
we went from the drought, and it was 6 weeks, 7 weeks, to torrential downpours, which is just like having a drought.
Well, it all runs off, right?
It washes everything away. So then, it would rain for 3 straight days, and then the sun would come out, and then the next day it would rain for 3 straight days.
Yeah. See,
but what that did set up was there was plenty of moisture when the goldenrod came out, and then we got high heat. And with the high heat and the moisture in the ground, that put out a flow and a half. So the hives that were incredibly light became rocks.
Right. See, but even our canola up here. So our canola, it was dry to start with, and when it bloomed, it was very patchy, very.
And it wasn't for a long time either.
Sparse. It was less than a week. And in less than a week from the time it bloomed to the time it burnt off, and when I say it burnt off, the bottom of the stalks, about 6 inches up, were already brown and dry. So the nectar flow wasn't going. That happened in less than a week. So the canola crops and stuff were not by any stretch of the imagination anywhere close to what a normal crop would be up here. And that's just one that you can see, and of course we pay a lot of attention to it because it's a fairly high producer for the nectar and the honey up here, right? But yeah, less than a week it bloomed this year. So
well, usually we go through the stage like you said where everything flowers and then it falls off, or it gets really hot and it just dries it all up and burns it out, grass, everything. And what I was doing was, once I harvested my honey, I pretty much was leaving my bees on their own devices. Like anything we got in the fall, you can just keep that. I'm not that greedy. I'm not going to take everything. The problem is that they would consume it and then go into winter light. And this past year, the ones that when I finally put feed on that were still living, I put like 8 gallons on each hive, and they took it all And those are the ones that lived and survived to fight another day. So we're going to try that this year, feeding them earlier to try to get that nest stronger before winter.
Even during your dearth, light syrup that they don't store will help them a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I'd caution. I mean, it would absolutely help. I'd caution putting sugar water out there when you got honey supers on. You know,
Oh, no.
they
After.
shouldn't dilute it, and really light. They shouldn't store it. Absolutely agree. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't take the chance, I guess, is what I'm saying. I'd prefer they not take the honey supers off, let them get through that, and maybe do one harvest, before the end of the year when you're going to feed them or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
or take, if the dearth is coming, take the honey supers off, feed them while the supers are off and put them back on or something. I don't know. I have a hard time.
So I'm going to do more like you guys do. And once I pull the honey, feed right to them. Boom. Here you go. You're not going to starve. Put this in your comb, in your brood chamber, right? Store it up for the winter.
Well, and the other thing, what do you have for pollen that comes in late in the fall like that, Bob? Do you get the goldenrod
and stuff like that? But
But
not a lot. I mean, it's usually brown.
The other one is to make sure that you're giving them that pollen early enough to get that bee population up, and then go from there too. So
problem is, if in the fall, if I throw pollen on them, anything
don't
like
leave
that,
the pollen on them, or don't leave the patties on them.
Yeah, if I do put it on them, beetles crazy.
See, that's I don't have to fight with up here, thank goodness.
Yeah, well, you saw the bug farmer's video with his vacuum cleaner. How many he vacuuming out?
What the heck does he call that? The bug sucker 4000 or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it's definitely a thing down here. Now, other places have them in the States, but boy, they seem to do really well down here. It's like hive beetle colonies that bees have moved into sometimes. So, and sometimes, believe it or not, the bees, it's like an equilibrium where they can live together and they're fine because the bee population is enough to corral them, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably why they're pissed off. Like there's too many bees or too many beetles in there. And you just can't. You smash as many as you can. Next time you come, you can smash as many as you can. I mean, I've even a couple times, I took the frame out on the outside and where they're trying to store nectar, and I've banged those on a migratory cover, knocked the bees off and everything, and to smash the beetles that are running around. It's just they get crazy.
Yeah, I'm very happy I don't have to deal with them.
Yeah, last summer I went into my nukes and there wasn't a drop of brood in them. It was that dry. They didn't have anything. I went home. I got frame feeders, pulled a frame, mixed up, I don't know, 100 gallons, gave everybody a gallon. I gave them another gallon. And 2 weeks later, they had 2 sheets of cat brood. They were starving to death.
Well, like I say, my hive out back there, they went through a gallon in the first week. The second gallon's on there now. So,
well, the year before, I bought 400 pounds of sugar. I only had about 10 more production hives this year, and I bought 4,800 pounds.
Yeah, Costco loves us when we.
And then I didn't have to really feed them in the fall because the flow was so good. But that was after the supers were off.
We've got to the point where there's a few of us up here now. Costco phones us.
How much sugar are you going to need so I can get it into you?
And it's not it's how many pallets, right? So, you can tell.
Give you a break at all on the Costco pallets?
No.
Yeah, I tried to. It's about $35 for a 50-pounder.
What is it there now, honey? Do you remember? 32?
It's under 30 now.
Oh, it's not. Oh, now she's telling us. Of course, we got pallets of sugar because we didn't use it all last year, and now she's telling me I think we paid $32 or $34 a bag last year. Now she's telling me it's under $30 a bag.
That's like $2.98 US.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Should I get a?
That joke's been going for like 3 years.
Yeah, it's tough. Should I get a 50-pound bag of sugar, or should I buy a chocolate bar?
Right. That joke literally has been going for 3 years now.
That's okay. Our 3/4 of an inch is still bigger than yours.
That's right. 7/8, baby.
Yeah, I made Brad a hive with. I used my CNC router, and I did his Faith Apries emblem and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize the Canadian boxes were just that much bigger than ours.
Yeah, they're
So-
a little bit thicker.
That's what she
Yeah,
said.
so it makes them wider and longer.
Yep.
Not by much, but it would look stupid on. So I told him the other day. I said, by the way, your Faith Aprie hive made it through the winter. 'Cause I got bees in it.
And there you go.
That's funny. The
See, I don't even have to build any equipment this year.
Yeah, I didn't have to build any equipment either. I was like, man, I was talking to Keith at Larimore Farms today, and he said his bees are doing really well, that he doesn't have enough. He's worried about not having enough honey supers. I said, well, I've got enough honey supers and worried about not having enough bees. So you can't win either way. Either you've got too much honey and need to buy equipment, or you don't have enough bees and you need to buy bees.
Oh, I still don't think I have enough equipment. Don't get me wrong. I'm a beekeeper. I don't think I can ever have too much equipment. I'm just not building any this year.
Yeah, you don't have to build any this year. Or comb.
Or comb. I am building wasp traps, though. So
Do you have wasps up there?
Oh, wasp and hornets really, really bad. Yes. So I'm working on some wasp and hornet traps. So
this is also the first year where I haven't had to have them draw out comb because of my dead outs, right? I've got enough comb for all my colonies. So that in itself should help with honey production.
Oh, it absolutely will. So
still put some foundation in, get some more combs.
Get some fresh ones.
Yeah.
I have earlier in the year, I did work a couple frames in, but when the honey flow really gets kicking here, they're getting the old stuff, baby. Let's go. Let's see what we can do.
Let's make some honey.
That's it.
Well, that
honey makes the money.
That alone should increase your production, Bob.
Yeah, it'd be my luck. It's all poison. That's why my bees are dying, not because I'm an idiot, but because the access points. It could be because I'm an idiot as well, but you know,
contributing factors. That's what I'm
right. Contributing factors. Well, we really have the deck stacked against us. Bob's an idiot, and Oliver Combs poison that he's using.
Yeah, talk about a handicap.
That's why they're so pissed off all the time. You're giving us more of this crappy comb.
That's too funny.
If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?
Oh. So, James, you've got your boat down in the islands or somewhere.
Correct.
What do you do with it during the summer? Do you go down there at all, or do you have it dry docked?
No, so it is. It's still at. We've got a mooring ball down there, so it's on a mooring ball. It's in Grenada, which is south of the hurricane belt. Now, Hurricane Beryl did hit Carriacou, which is an island just north of. Well, it's still considered the country Grenada, but it's north of where the boat is. But the mooring ball that's on, it's in a hurricane. It's on a hurricane-safe mooring ball in a hurricane-safe harbor. So, but it is still floating. So we do have a gentleman now that he stays down there. He lives down there, and his boat is I'm going to say 300 yards from mine. So he's watching out for it, taking a look, and he goes by once a month. He'll fire up the engine and open it all up, so nothing gets stale. He'll check the bilges, things like that. He'll run the engine up to temperature, leave it open for the day, and then comes back at night. He'll close her all back up, and
nice.
And then, of course, you're good for another couple weeks. So it's important to run those engines up to temperature, get that moisture and stuff out of there. Obviously, there's no shortage of humidity and stuff down there, but there's the boating community is a lot like the beekeeping community. You get out of it what you put in. If you're willing to walk over and say hi, you will make a friend. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's really good. We when we went down there, when Leah and I went down there here earlier this year, basically to accept the boat, take possession of the boat, and stuff like that. I was already talking to some other YouTubers, and they helped us out hugely. In fact, I think I had just about, I wouldn't say all of his tools, but I think I had just about all of his tools on my boat there at one given time. Everything from, we did a bunch of rewiring to, replace battery banks and checking out solar panels and engine mounts and, pumps and water systems. And he was a huge help. So, but if anybody wants to check him out, I'm going to be selfish here tonight, Bob. I'm going to give them a plug too. But they were actually YouTube Channel of the Year last night for the International Cruisers Award. So if you want to go check them out, their channel is called Spirit Animal, SPEAR, as in spear fishing. Check out Spirit Animal. So Raph and Sasha are amazing people, and they take YouTube to a whole new level. So their YouTubes and their videos, they tell a story. They're actually great people. So if anybody wants to check some of them out, they got some great videos. And we were fortunate enough to be on the dock beside them when we were down there. So if I did have a question, he was right there, and I think half the time he was down in my boat helping me fix it as well as as what they were doing. But absolutely, great bunch.
I just threw him a subscription.
Perfect.
They got a green logo.
They do, yeah.
With the black octopus on it.
A kraken. Yeah, it's a kraken holding spears. So
doesn't look like the kraken I drink.
So, but no, like I say, they're absolutely great and amazing people. So, we were down there. They let Leah and I. They have a couple little scooters, and I think Leah would have been happy if I just would have bought her a scooter down there. I don't think she wanted the boat. I think she had more fun on the scooter than she did on the boat. But
and like they're the stand-on scooters.
Yeah, they're not a sit down. Like they're a two-wheel stand-on scooter where you hold the steering wheel and away you go. So she was like a little skater girl.
Now she needed to wear her unicorn costume on the scooter.
There you go. So
a Canadian unicorn in King Arthur's court.
Yep. There you go. So, but no, it's like I say, the YouTube community is it's an amazing community, and like I said, if you're willing to reach out and say hi, you're almost guaranteed you make a new friend. So,
well, it didn't take long for me and you to get along pretty well.
I still can't believe you lock your door when you see me coming, though.
I just wanted to see how long is he going to sit outside before he actually leaves.
I actually went to the store and got.
And that's when I came outside when I saw you drive off, and I was like, oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say I went to the store the first time, and I think I got like an ice cream because it was hot.
Yeah, coming out, he's eating ice cream,
and then I thought, screw this. I went back and I got myself a beer.
Then he came back.
but I figured sooner or later.
I'll make my way out that way in Canada sometime, eventually.
Yeah, came all the way up here to Canada. Didn't even come over here to see me.
Yeah, you were right next door to where I was too.
So in the U.S., what would you be above?
Montana.
But it's kind of like if you were in Texas. If you were in Montana, if you were in Texas to where James is in Alberta, it's still quite a drive.
Oh, come on. We drove down to, Mississippi.
In only 45 hours.
One way.
One way.
Yeah, it was just one, and we did that in a week. Like that was just a week trip.
Hop, skip, and a jump.
hop, skip, and a jump. Exactly.
I'm
So,
gonna see how long it would take me to get to you from me if I drove. Okay, distance to Grand Prairie, Alberta. From my location. If I drove, it would take me 41 hours and 43 minutes. So you might as well say, and that's if I didn't stop, didn't take a break, didn't eat or pee.
so
or anything.
today's what? Tuesday?
I could be there next Monday.
Yeah, next Monday. I was gonna say I'll have steaks on for you on Friday, Bob.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
you
a
know what I
heck of a
say.
drive.
If I can drive to you, you're my neighbor, right?
Right.
And now I can't even say drive to you. So I mean, if I can drive to you and then sail to you, I think I'll have to say you're my neighbor too.
I believe it would be a shorter drive if I went from Grand Prairie to Alaska from here.
Grand Prairie to Alaska. Well, Alaska is way north of me.
But you're way north of me.
I suppose.
Let me see. Alaska to Grand. No roads matching your search from Alaska to Grand Prairie. You can't get there from here.
Yeah, you can. Trust me. Been there, done that.
Anyway, it's an epic drive either way. From Brad's, how far? How long?
Brad's he's only 18 hours away.
Only 18. Okay. I can literally drive from Miami to New York State in less than 18 hours.
So, yeah, Brad's is like a day trip.
Yeah. Day and a half trip because the round trip.
Well, round trip.
36
yeah. I mean, when I took those bees over there, I left here at what, like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Head east on Spalding Street toward West Street, then turn left onto West Street.
Oh, you're getting directions now. But I left here at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was at Brad's, the next morning to unload them, and I stopped and had a nap.
Mine says 1 day, 21 hours.
Yeah, there you
go. 1 day, 21 hours. That's literally like 45 hours.
Yeah.
So, well, it is interesting because the Toyota dealership just when I phone and tell them I'm due for a service, and I'm due for my 50,000 kilometer service. They're like, no, you're not. You only got the truck in December.
Right. Surprise!
Yeah, I am. So, but
we drove to the States. Well, that's not that far. No, we drove way down to the States.
We were in south part of Louisiana there.
You got 50,000 miles on that truck already?
What am I at? 64,000 kilometers. Yeah.
That's
like 10 miles US.
That's 7/8 in driving terms.
Yeah, and like I said, I got another. It'll be early May. I've got a 18-hour road trip I'm going to do.
60,000 kilometers to miles. 37,000. You've got 10,000 miles less than I have on my 4-year-old pickup truck.
Oh well, there you go. You better.
You
got lots of kilometers to come on up and see me, Bob. What's holding you back?
Yeah, there's plenty to spare in there. About 50 gas stops in between here and there.
Actually, the gas wasn't that bad going down there. What did we do? And actually, you guys have got gas down there that isn't like it's not diluted. You don't end up with all of this crap in there. So that made a hell of a difference in the gas mileage of the truck too.
Oh, well, that good gas you're talking about, I get like on the highway 15 miles to the gallon.
What?
In my truck, yep.
You should buy a
14.9 to 15.5.
Yeah, but right. you guys pay half for your fuel down there is what we pay up here.
Yeah, but I got to burn twice as much, so.
Same price.
Same price.
Yeah, we were kind of shocked at the gas prices down there, how cheap it was.
Now, if I took the Bronco, 33 miles to the gallon. So
There you go. I can't even tell you. I don't even look at what I get for gas mileage anymore because it really makes no difference.
you
Mind
still
you,
got
I've been driving my car the last week, so that gets 56 miles to the gallon.
the smart car.
The smart car.
I thought it was dead or something. Something was wrong with it.
Well, a rock came through the window, but I got a new window in it. So, but
It
that's
cost me
about
about 150 to drive out to Kentucky in my minivan.
I was gonna say my smart car. I've got 100,000 kilometers on it. I'm probably the only guy I know that's.
You know what that means? Move closer to a town.
So actually, I was telling Daryl that yesterday or today at work. I says, this week or this summer, I got to jump in my car. I got to drive it to the West Coast and then come back. So Vancouver's 12, 14 hours from here, something like that. But if I could drive to the West Coast and take a picture, because when I bought the car in Barrie, Ontario, I went east until I saw the ocean, and I took a picture of my car in front of the ocean, and then I drove it home, and then now I just got to get to the other side, and then I'll have a picture of my car in front of the Atlantic and the Pacific. So not many people can say they drove a smart car, clear across Canada.
I can't say I've ever driven anything smart.
I think I've driven a smart car.
Everybody laughs at that car, but I love that car. And especially when you stop at the pump and you go to fill it up, and it takes like anywhere between $26 and $32, and you're full, and you run around for 2 weeks on that.
Yeah, it's kind of like riding a motorcycle that has a roof on it.
No, my motorcycle burns more gas, and it's got a bigger engine than my car.
Doug said James, not many would want to.
Oh, you know what? That thing was hilarious. I don't know what people thought when I first bought this thing in Barrie, Ontario. Of course, you're leaving Toronto and stuff like that, and you're on a 6-lane divided highway, and I'm scooting along, and the OPP, or Ontario Provincial Police, passed me, and I'm like, oh geez, maybe I better speed up. I look down, and I'm doing like 145 kilometers an hour, and it's like, no, I think I'm good in here. But and then you'd get out at the pump, and I'll bet you for the first week, I'd get out of my car and I started laughing because I could literally put my arms out and I could touch the front bumper and the back bumper. You couldn't help. You get out of your vehicle and you couldn't help but laugh at your own car. But when you're sitting in it, I mean, this thing's got heated leather seats. It's got your climate control air conditioning. It's got a Bose stereo system in it. The thing is just like it.
Does it have a block heater?
It does not have a block heater.
So how do you manage that in the wintertime?
Well, I wish I could say I park it in the garage, but my garage is full of bee stuff. So I usually drive my truck in the wintertime. So, but
can it navigate snowy roads?
Oh yeah, well, as long as the snow's not much deeper than about this.
In other words, no, not where
actually,
you
it does good on snow and stuff like that. It just doesn't do very good on ruts. You get high centered pretty quick. So,
that's what happens when you drive a skateboard.
Lift kit on that thing.
What's that?
Put a lift kit on some.
That's what happens when you drive a skateboard.
Yeah, skateboard.
But it's legal, actually. It's one of the only vehicles that's legal. You know how you go downtown and everybody parallel parks? Well, I can back in so my bumper's up against the curb, and it's so short that it's actually legal to do that. So you go back out and you pull out into traffic, and away you go.
That's funny.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it's too fun.
Is it just a 2-seater? I hope
it's just a 2-seater. Yeah. So, but
when you need more traction, you just put a 5-gallon pail of honey in the back.
Actually, believe it or not, everybody says, "Oh, well, you got no room." So you don't have a pile of room. I'll give you that. But you could take 2 people and 2 big suitcases, like you were going to go on a trip, fit in there, and away you go. So
I'll take your word for it, sir.
So
You'd have
3
no
of my
problem.
shirts.
you're a pretty tall guy. You would have no problem in there at all. So
I'll go trade my truck in on a smart car.
well, you could, or you could get a smart car to put it in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
So when your truck breaks down, you could drive the smart car.
Just roll it out the back and good to go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I wouldn't roll it. Just pick it up, set it down on the street, and so.
Well, everyone, unfortunately, I work now. It's after 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know it's like, what, 8 o'clock your time, James?
9 o'clock here now.
9 o'clock?
Yeah, we got that whole daylight savings time, spring ahead, fall back BS. But so, yeah, it's 9 o'clock here now.
So I'm going to go ahead and shut the live stream down for tonight and thank everybody for hanging out with us and putting up with our shenanigans again. Thank you for all the super chats. It's really appreciated. It goes a long way to help. Well, in all fairness, it kept us afloat for probably 4 months between YouTube and website sales and stuff like that. So definitely appreciate you guys. And I guess we'll see you next week.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. If I can get to the thing here. There we go.